Imagine waking up in a home that pays you every single month. No 9 to 5, no boss breathing down your neck, just steady cash flow, growing equity, and a legacy you can pass down. This isn't fantasy, it's real estate. Now you might be thinking, Graham, real estate's for the rich, right? Wrong. I'm not talking about flipping houses or building a real estate empire overnight. I'm talking about a proven system anyone can use to build real wealth, step by step. We're talking about financial freedom, the kind of freedom that lets you quit that soul-crushing job, spend more time with your family, and actually enjoy your life. And the best part? You don't need a trust fund or a six-figure salary to get started. You just need the right knowledge and the willingness to take action. So, are you ready to unlock the secrets of real estate and build the life you deserve? Let's dive in. Listen up, because this is important. Real estate isn't just about buying property, it's about building long-term, sustainable wealth. And it does that in ways most people don't even realize. When you buy a rental property, you're not just buying a building, you're buying a cash-flowing asset. Think of it like owning a money printing machine that spits out cash every single month. That's the power of rental income. But it gets even better. While that cash flow is lining your pockets, your property is appreciating in value. That's right, it's like getting paid twice for the same investment. And if that wasn't enough, the government actually incentivizes real estate investing with some incredible tax advantages. We're talking deductions for mortgage interest, depreciation, repairs, and even travel expenses. It's like the government is your silent business partner, helping you keep more of your hard-earned money. Let's break down the three main ways real estate builds wealth: cash flow, appreciation, and tax benefits. First up, cash flow. Imagine this. Every month, like clockwork, you receive rent payments from your tenants. This money covers your mortgage, expenses, and puts cash directly into your pocket. That's passive income, baby. Next, we have appreciation. Over time, real estate tends to increase in value. This means your property is essentially a savings account that's growing without you lifting a finger. And when you're ready to sell, you can cash in on those sweet, sweet equity gains. Finally, let's talk about those juicy tax benefits. As a real estate investor, you get to write off a ton of expenses like mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, and even repairs. These deductions lower your taxable income, which means you keep more of your money. So you've got consistent cash flow, long-term appreciation, and incredible tax advantages. It's no wonder real estate is the #1 wealth-building tool for self-made millionaires. Now I know what you're thinking. Graham, this all sounds great, but I'm not a millionaire. I don't have a ton of cash lying around. And that's totally fine. Let me introduce you to Marcus. 5 years ago, Marcus was stuck in a dead-end job, drowning in student loan debt and making a measly $38,000 a year. Sound familiar? But here's the thing. Marcus was sick and tired of being broke. He knew there had to be a better way. So he decided to take control of his financial future and bet on himself. He learned everything he could about real estate investing, and he started small. He didn't let his lack of experience or his small bank account hold him back. And guess what? Today, Marcus owns 4 rental properties and brings in over $4,200 per month in passive income. That's more than his old job. So how did Marcus do it? He understood the power of leverage, and no, I'm not just talking about financial leverage, I'm talking about leveraging knowledge, time, and other people's resources to build wealth. See, Marcus realized that he didn't need to be a real estate mogul overnight. He just needed to take that first step and learn as he went. He started by house hacking, which we'll talk about in a minute. He also wasn't afraid to ask for help. He connected with other investors, attended meetups, and learned from their experiences. He realized that the real estate community is incredibly supportive, and there's always someone willing to lend a helping hand. And most importantly, Marcus understood that building wealth takes time. He wasn't looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. He was playing the long game, and his patience and persistence paid off big time. Alright, let's dive into Marcus's first step: house hacking. Now imagine this. You could live rent-free or close to it while building equity in a property. That's the power of house hacking. Marcus found a duplex, basically, a building with 2 separate units, and decided to make it his first investment. He lived in one unit and rented out the other. This is where it gets interesting. His tenant's rent covered 90% of his mortgage payment. That's right, 90%. Imagine that coming into your bank account every month instead of going straight to your landlord. This is how you start building real wealth, not just trading your time for rent money. Now you might be thinking, Graham, I don't have a ton of cash for a down payment. And you know what? Neither did Marcus. He used an FHA loan which only requires a 3.5% down payment. That means on a $200,000 duplex, he only needed $7,000 down. We'll talk more about leveraging these kinds of loans later. The point is, Marcus found a way to get into the market without breaking the bank. He used a common strategy, an FHA loan, and a smart approach to housing, and it completely changed his financial trajectory. Remember, real estate is a long game, and this was just his first move. Think about how much money you spend on rent every month. It's probably a significant chunk of your income, right? With house hacking, Marcus turned that expense into an investment. He was essentially living for free while his tenant paid down his mortgage. This is the beauty of house hacking. You're not just saving money on rent, you're building equity in an asset that has the potential to appreciate over time. Plus, you're getting all the tax benefits of homeownership, which we'll dive into later. But here's the thing, Marcus didn't stop there. He knew that one property was just the beginning. He had his sights set on building a portfolio of income-generating assets. He used the cash flow from his first property to save up for a down payment on his next investment. Remember, real estate is a journey, not a sprint. House hacking is an incredible way to get started, build equity, and create positive cash flow. It's about putting yourself in a position to achieve financial freedom one property at a time. Okay, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in real estate leverage. You see, most successful investors don't get rich using only their own money. They leverage other people's money, or OPM, to build their wealth. And this, my friends, is where things get really interesting. Think about it. Why put down $200,000 of your own cash when you can control the same asset with a fraction of that? By using leverage, you're essentially multiplying your buying power. You're able to acquire more assets, faster, which can lead to much greater returns in the long run. Now, there are a few different ways to leverage OPM in real estate. Marcus, being a savvy investor, utilized a couple of these strategies. He started with FHA loans, which have lower down payment requirements, and then, as his income and experience grew, he began exploring other options like HELOCs, partnerships, and even seller financing. We'll dive into the specifics of each of these strategies later, but the key takeaway here is this. Don't limit yourself to only what you can afford with cash. Understand the power of leverage and use it strategically to accelerate your journey to financial freedom. So what are these magical leverage options, you ask? Well, let's break them down. We've already touched on FHA loans, which are great for first-time homebuyers with lower credit scores and smaller down payments. They allow you to get your foot in the door and start building equity. Then there are HELOCs, or home equity lines of credit. These are loans that are secured by the equity you've built up in your primary residence. It's like having a giant credit card backed by your house. You can use this line of credit to fund renovations, make investments, or even purchase additional properties. Another powerful strategy is partnering with other investors. This is a great option if you're just starting out and don't have a lot of capital or experience. By pooling your resources together, you can invest in larger deals and mitigate some of the risk. And finally, there's seller financing. This is where the seller of the property acts as the bank, essentially loaning you the money to buy their property. This can be a win-win situation, as you might be able to negotiate favorable terms, and the seller often gets a higher sale price. Remember, leveraging OPM is all about being strategic and doing your due diligence. Understand the risks and rewards associated with each option and choose the one that aligns best with your financial goals and risk tolerance. Alright, we've talked about house hacking and leveraging OPM, but none of that matters if you don't buy the right property. This is where your due diligence comes in. You need to be able to analyze deals, spot red flags, and negotiate like a pro. Marcus, like any smart investor, had a set of criteria that he used to evaluate every potential investment. He wasn't just looking for any property, he was looking for deals that met his specific investment goals. His first rule? Cash flow. He wanted properties that would generate positive cash flow after all expenses were paid, including the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and any potential maintenance costs. This ensured that he wasn't just breaking even every month but actually putting money in his pocket. Secondly, he looked for low-maintenance properties. He knew that the more time and money he had to spend on repairs, the lower his overall return on investment would be. He focused on properties that were in good condition, or that required minimal renovations. Section 2. Location, location, location. And finally, Marcus understood the importance of location. He focused on properties in desirable rental locations, areas with strong rental demand, low vacancy rates, and a growing job market. This ensured that he would have no problem finding and keeping good tenants. Remember, buying a property just because it's cheap is not a good investment strategy. You need to consider the bigger picture, the long-term potential of the property, and whether it aligns with your investment goals. Don't be afraid to walk away from a deal if it doesn't feel right. There are always other opportunities out there. In fact, being patient and selective is one of the hallmarks of a successful real estate investor. Remember, you're not just buying a property, you're investing in your financial future. Make sure it's an investment that makes sense for you. Alright, so Marcus now owns his first rental property. He's house hacking, living for free, and his tenant is covering most of the mortgage. But Marcus is a hustler. He's not stopping there. He wants to build equity and increase his cash flow even more. Remember, we're playing the long game here, but that doesn't mean we can't make smart moves along the way. After 2 years of diligently paying down his mortgage and strategically making improvements to the property, Marcus decides it's time to refinance. See, property values usually go up over time, right? So when Marcus refinances, he's basically taking advantage of that increased value. He pulls out $40,000 of his equity tax-free, by the way, and uses that money as a down payment on another rental property. This, my friends, is the BRRRR method in action. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. It's like a snowball effect. You start small, but with each refinance, you're leveraging your equity to acquire more assets and build even more wealth. And that's how you turn a single rental property into a real estate empire. Now, some people might think, refinancing sounds complicated, but trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds. Talk to a mortgage broker, shop around for the best rates, and make sure you understand the terms. But remember, refinancing is just one part of the equation. Marcus also focused on maximizing his cash flow from the get-go. He made some strategic upgrades to his rental property, nothing crazy, but things that tenants actually care about. He updated the kitchen with new appliances and countertops. He also added an in-unit washer and dryer, which, let me tell you, is a huge selling point for renters. These upgrades not only allowed him to increase the rent he charged, but also attracted higher quality tenants. See, when you invest in your properties, you're not just throwing money away, you're adding value, increasing your cash flow, and building equity. It's a win-win-win situation. Now I know what you're thinking. Graham, this all sounds great, but is it really possible to build wealth in real estate without being a millionaire already? And the answer is a resounding yes. Real estate is not about getting rich quick. It's about playing the long game and letting time work its magic. Let me explain. When you invest in real estate, you're benefiting from two powerful forces: rent increases and property appreciation. Over time, rents tend to go up, right? That means your monthly cash flow increases, putting more money in your pocket, but here's the kicker. Your property value is likely going up too, especially in desirable areas. So, even if you don't do anything else, your net worth is increasing year after year. This is the magic of compound growth. It's like planting a tree. It takes time and effort to nurture it in the beginning, but over the years, it grows stronger and taller, providing you with shade and fruit for years to come. And the best part is, real estate is a tangible asset. It's not some abstract stock or bond, it's a physical property that you own and control. You can touch it, you can see it, and it provides real value to people's lives. Now, I'm not saying there won't be challenges along the way. There will be unexpected repairs, difficult tenants, and maybe even a market downturn. But that's just part of the game. The key is to be prepared, to have a plan, and to stay informed. Remember why you started investing in the first place. You're not just building a portfolio, you're building a legacy. You're creating financial security for yourself and your family for generations to come. And that, my friends, is priceless. Look, I know what you're thinking. Taxes, this is supposed to be about building wealth, not giving it away. And you're right, nobody likes paying taxes, but here's the thing. The tax code actually favors real estate investors. There are so many deductions and loopholes that most people don't even know exist. And one of the biggest ones is depreciation. See, the IRS lets you deduct a portion of your rental property's value every year to account for wear and tear. Now, here's the crazy part. Even though you're taking this depreciation deduction, your property is probably appreciating in value at the same time. It's like getting a discount on your taxes while your investment grows. It's one of the best legal tax shelters out there, and it's one of the main reasons why real estate is such a powerful wealth-building tool. But that's not all, folks. The tax benefits don't stop there. You can also deduct mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance, repairs, maintenance, and even travel expenses related to managing your properties. Did you have to drive to your rental property to meet with a contractor? Deductible. Did you buy a new laptop to manage your rental income and expenses? Deductible. The IRS wants to encourage real estate investment, and they do that by offering these incredible tax breaks. Now, I'm not a tax professional, so I always recommend talking to a qualified accountant to make sure you're taking advantage of all the deductions available to you. But trust me, when you see how much you can save in taxes, you'll be kicking yourself for not investing in real estate sooner. Marcus gets it. He understands that time is more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. That's why he decided to transition from active investing to passive wealth building. Instead of spending every weekend fixing toilets and chasing down rent checks, he hired a property manager. These guys are worth their weight in gold. They handle tenant screening, rent collection, maintenance requests, all the headaches that come with being a landlord. Now Marcus can focus on the bigger picture, finding more deals, optimizing his portfolio, and enjoying his free time. To automate his finances even further, he uses tools for things like rent payments and expense tracking. This allows him to scale his real estate business without burning out. Remember, the goal is financial freedom, not just trading one job for another. Here's the thing about building wealth. It's a snowball effect. The more you have, the faster it grows. Marcus understands the power of compounding returns, so he reinvests a good chunk of his profits, about 30%. He uses this money to pay down his mortgages faster, which means more equity and cash flow in the long run. He also uses it to acquire more properties, further accelerating his wealth-building journey. This strategy might seem slow at first, but trust me, it's like a rocket ship. It takes a ton of energy to get off the ground, but once it gains momentum, there's no stopping it. By reinvesting consistently and strategically, Marcus is building a massive passive income stream that will allow him to achieve true financial freedom. A lot of people think you need to be rich to get started in real estate. Let me tell you, that's just not true. Marcus is living proof that you don't need a trust fund or a six-figure salary to build wealth through real estate. What you need is resourcefulness, determination, and the willingness to learn. Remember, Marcus started with nothing but a burning desire to change his financial future. He educated himself, took action, and never gave up. So many people get caught up in analysis paralysis. They spend months researching every little detail but never actually take the plunge. Don't be that person. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Take that first step, even if it's just attending a local real estate meetup or reading a book on investing. The real estate market is always changing, but the fundamental principles of wealth building remain the same. Find undervalued properties, use leverage wisely, maximize cash flow, and play the long game. The beauty of real estate is that it's a tangible asset. You're not investing in some abstract stock or cryptocurrency. You're investing in something real, something you can touch and see and rent out for cash flow. Millions of people have used real estate to achieve financial freedom. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes time, effort, and dedication. But the rewards are well worth it. So what are you waiting for? Your wealth-building journey starts today. Take action, stay consistent, and watch your financial future transform. At Passive Pioneer 365, we're here to help you think bigger, act smarter, and build lasting wealth. But remember, every financial journey is unique. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always consult with a licensed financial advisor, real estate professional, or tax expert before making any investment decisions. That said, your wealth-building journey can start today, even if you're starting from zero. Subscribe to Passive Pioneer 365, drop a comment with the word property, and let's grow together. Text on screen. Like, comment, subscribe. Seek professional financial advice before making investment decisions.